everyone, I'm Jodi and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I'm glad you stopped by. I hope you like the content enough to become a subscriber, which you just need to hit that subscribe button just down below. It really helps YouTube determine when to put these videos in front of other busy and ambitious women just like you who are looking for quick tips of information to help them look and feel their most beautiful. So today's video is all about looking and feeling beautiful on a budget as we enter spring, long-awaited spring. I don't know about you guys, but I live in the Pacific Northwest where we have had a lot of snow this winter. It all came at one time. So I'm ready for spring. I love the tulips and just all the different colors that come out in the springtime. So for the next couple videos, I'm going to be bringing you ways to achieve a nice, fun, summer, spring, glowy type look, but without spending a fortune. In fact, today's video is going to be about going through your own makeup collection, your makeup drawer, wherever you keep some of your cosmetics, and just pull out your crayons, I call them, your eye crayons, because we're going to go from you'll do your foundation and your eyebrows, and then we're going to come together and do the eyes, the lips, and the cheeks with just 4 or 5 colors that you gather. So you don't have to go purchase anything for this look, which is one of the reasons that I love it. Also, it doesn't matter if you are gonna have more shimmery eye sticks or if you have matte. It really more depends on what you're comfortable with. I just happen to have a couple that are shimmery, so what I did is I just pulled out the ones that I thought would match my shirt and have some contrast to my eye color. And for that, you just go to a normal color wheel. I have more hazel eyes, so burgundies and purples and that kind of color really helps to complement the hazel eye. If your eyes are more on the blue side, more bluish eyes, then you want to look for things that are more orangey, warm colors, unless your skin is cool, and then you're going to want to go on more of the cool side of oranges. Again, opposite of the color wheel. If your eyes are brown, lucky you, you have a wider range of colors. Almost any color is a nice complement to your eye color. And if you have green, then again, you're gonna wanna go a little bit more hazel like I do and go to some burgundies, deeper reds. But as we age, you don't wanna go too much on sort of that rosy, deep red color because that can tend to make us look more tired. So for me with hazel, I try to stay on the lighter side of just a burgundy, but to the lightest side, which almost puts you more into a light pink type color. Yeah, maybe even something like, as I'm looking at my shirt, maybe just a really light burgundy, which is again, borderlines pink. Too dark, you can start to look like you're tired, or that it can pull out the bloodshot colors in your eyes. So once you've gathered what you want to wear that day and which eye sticks that you have that most complement your eye color, then you're just going to want to grab your top 4 or 5 colors and we are going to get started. So I'll wait, go ahead and go grab those, and we'll be right here when you get back and we'll get started. So let's get started with this really fun and simple look. The first thing that I did is determine what shirt I wanted to wear so that I could go and grab any of the eyeshadow crayons that I have throughout my different drawers and collections, and started to pull them together to see which ones would really match the shirt that I have on. And I knew I wanted something more in the neutral tones. And then once I looked at the colors that I had, I just drew them really simple on a piece of paper to see, do I have a lighter colored one and what's the darkest contrast, and then do I have something sort of in between the two that would allow me to sort of give some depth. And fortunately, I have a little pack that I bought on Amazon, you guys, for $19, and this has been one of the best eyeshadow crayons, and it's Luxaza. Once I identified the colors that I wanted and I knew it matched the tones of the shirt that I wanted, then I was ready to go. And these are all relatively on the shimmer side. Now you can matte these down by putting a little bit of a translucent powder over these creams. I don't recommend doing that simply because it's just going to add another layer, and when you add powder to our more mature skin, you start to get that cakey, drying look. Now if you have matte crayons, then that works perfectly fine. They don't have to be shimmer, that just happens to be what I have that matches sort of the color of the spring that I'm going with. So first thing I'm going to do is just take sort of that medium transition color, and I'm going to go right in that transition from the outer corner, just kind of going along my eyebrow, but in the crease. I just want to emphasize that shading just a little bit. And on this, I don't want to pull it out any farther than the corner of my eye. So if the corner of my eyes are right here, I definitely don't want that shadow to go any farther than that. I don't want to pull down the look. I want everything to go up. So you see I stopped right there on both sides. That one might have got a little bit low. And then on the back of these, just have a little brush. You can just grab any brush and just blend that. Let me put the lid on so I don't start drawing on my hand, because that has happened before. And we're just gonna lightly sort of blend that in. I'm not trying to move the product, I'm just trying to blend it softly. You could even use your hands. Let's just do that. Let's just see, because if you don't have a brush on the back, I wanna make sure that you feel like you can achieve the same look without any special tools or out going buying anything. I'm just trying to make a rainbow shape, if you will, from spreading it where we put it to a little bit more into the corner. There, so it just sort of gives a natural shade or natural transition. Next, what I'm going to do is take one of the darker colors, and this is sort of a dark green olive color. And I like it because I think it's going to match nice with some of these darker colors here. And I'm just going to go in the outer corner up to where I started that transition, and then in that transition. So that typical V that we're all used to making. We'll do that on both sides. And again, you guys, you can do this with any of your crayons. So, and if you don't have any eye pencils like this, then certainly any type of an eyeshadow will work, as long as it's the colors that you're looking for. So again, a really light color, a dark color, and then some colors in between. So from there, you can see we have kind of our V on both sides. And then I like to just step back, as you know, and just make sure that the angles are the same before I start to blend that in. Now you can blend this with your finger also, and again, this is more of a smudge, I would say, than a blend. A damp beauty sponge would probably work really good right here, just so that I'm not moving the product, but I'm just sort of pouncing it and blending it in. Because if you blend this, you are literally one swipe away from a nice pretty spring look to a black eye. So I try to just make sure that I'm not moving that product at all, just sort of blending it, just like it's when you're tapping in your concealer. And you know, we'll go back in and clean this up. So I never get too worried about getting it too far past my eye. It's less to clean up if I just am a little more careful on the front end. And yes, as we get older, you have to sort of hold your eye in place where you want your color to go. I want a little bit more dimension there than I got once I blended it. So I'm just gonna go back in and sort of go right in that corner of that outer socket. And just because this is a round one, that's just the shape that I want. So I'm just gonna push it in carefully and twist it around. There, you can kind of see how that goes. And then again, you can use the brush if you have one. You can use a damp beauty sponge and just pounce it to give some dimension to the outer corner of your eye. There, perfect. I love this look because really your eyes, your cheeks, and your lips are under 20 bucks or whatever you have free if you already have eye crayons on hand, eye pencils on hand, eye crayons. I like to call them crayons because I feel like I'm coloring a little bit when I use these things. Okay, pretty simple so far, right? 2 colors in and we're starting to get a look. Next, I'm gonna go with the lightest color of all the crayons that I collected. And I'm just gonna go right along my lash line in the front from the inner corner out. And then up to that transition line and down. So just imagine if you were to go kind of a halfway mark like this and then covering that whole triangle. So across the lash line, in that transition line to about the halfway mark. And we'll do that on both sides. This is a really pretty color. This might be, you know what I think we're gonna use this for also is our highlighter. And I have a really good trick for highlighter, so you'll wanna do that with me. And it's tested, I have tested it before. We're just gonna press that into every little wrinkle that we have and hope it stays in place. Now, if you have more oily skin, you'll definitely want to use some sort of a primer before you do this so that you don't have the oil adding to these crayons, and then they start to slip. Next, we're gonna go with the darkest one that we have, and I'm gonna go just use this as eyeliner. So starting in the outer corner and just ever so lightly go right at the lash line. And I'm gonna go where my lashes actually start and where they end. So I won't go in any farther than kind of right here is where my lashes end, and we'll do that on both sides. Now, if you have an eyeliner that you love, you can certainly use that right here. I just wanted to show that you could do a quick, easy look with any of the crayons if you have some on hand. And then I just like to take that outer corner and just flick it up a little, because what would it look be if there wasn't some sort of a wing to it? There. And you may want that a little bit darker. If so, just grab maybe the color that you put in the outer corner. For me, it was like that darker green color, and I can just go right over that again to give a little more depth and maybe a little bit more color. So don't be afraid to just use these crayons for a few different areas on the face. It's cream, and as I said earlier, when you're wanting that healthy glow as we get older, then you really want to start to incorporate more creams than powders. Okay, now what we want to do is I want to go with a little bit across the bottom, so I'm going to go back to that darker green, and for this I want a little bit more of a precise look. So I'm going to just take a real skinny brush. Any skinny brush will do, and this is the ultra fine eyeliner brush from Bobbi Brown, and I'm just going to put some of that on my brush, and I'm going to use liner across the bottom. Now you can skip the brush part and just use the crayon directly depending on how thick your crayon is, but this one's pretty thick and I didn't want too big of a line underneath my lashes, so I'm just going to go with the smaller one. Springtime is super fun, I think, because you can get real creative. Flowers come in so many different colors. You can wear different brights, you know, pinks can come in 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 different shades of pinks, and greens and blues and browns, and so it's really a fun time to be able to mix your colors and layer them and use mono layering if you want. So it's just a fun time, I think, to be able to get creative with your makeup. I always say I'm going to start with a nice natural glow, and then I end up going a little bit darker, but I am going to go a little darker. So I'm going to go back to the darkest one that we did on our eyelashes. And so far we've still only used 4 colors. So just don't feel like you have to go buy some big palette or expensive crayons, because again, this whole pack of 6 came, and I'll link them below if you're interested. I've used them enough now to feel comfortable to refer them to you. Okay, now from there, you know me, I always have to curl my lashes before we put on any mascara. Now what you can do, you guys, is with that really light color that you put right here in the center of your eye, you could go and put that just on the tip of your finger. It's a little bit, it's not quite as light as I would like it to be, but if you have a lighter one, you can just ever so slightly touch up the under part of the highest point of your eyebrow. I wouldn't do this all over the whole area because these are shimmery, and we're not trying to go back to 1988 where we had shimmer all the way up to the brow. We just want to give a little bit of a highlight. Now that we've curled our lashes, we will put on some mascara. I just had it, where did it go? And I'm just going to use the La Roche-Posay mascara. And you know me, I'll do 2 coats. This is the waterproof one, so I will do 2 coats and not have to do a 3rd coat with waterproof. But you could certainly, I've layered this probably 4 times max. I don't think I've layered it more than that. Speaking of layering, have you guys seen the new advertisement for the Stack, which is MAC's new mascara? If you look close, when you first look at it, they have 4 different pictures of lashes that look really dramatically different from the first one to the 4th one. And I thought, gosh, that must be a really cool mascara. Let me check it out. But when you read underneath each of those pictures, it tells you how many coats it took. The 3rd picture took 25 coats of mascara, and the 4th picture took 40 coats. And I thought, while I can appreciate a nice mascara that's been 2 years in the making, I don't know anybody in this age bracket that A, has the time, but B, has the desire to put on 40 coats of mascara to get it to look like it looks in the ad. I'm a big fan of the quality of MAC products, but that was not impressive to me. So if any of you guys bought that, the Stack by MAC, that's cute, the Stack by MAC. They probably call it the Stack because you have to stack 40 layers on to get the look that you're looking for. And then I'm just gonna put a little bit of mascara on my bottom lashes. I know I don't do that often, but I'm starting to do it a little bit more because it definitely gives a more youthful appearance. So next I'm gonna go back to my paper and sort of look at my different colors that I gathered, and I'm gonna use the two lightest colors. And the lightest color was the one that we put right in the front of on the top of our eyelids. So I'm gonna grab that one, and then I'm gonna grab the next lightest. So your two lightest colors that you have in the collection. And I'm just gonna take the darker color for some blush and just kind of dot it like that. And then the lighter of the colors, I'm just gonna pick that up at about that halfway mark and go from here forward, but on top of it. So you see how that line is right there? I'm just gonna put this right here, starting at about the halfway mark, and dot it, and coming about a dot farther than the darker color. So I don't want this highlight to go on top of that entire dark color. I want it to start at the halfway mark and then come out just a little bit past where I stopped. Do the same on this side. And I like to just do these little tiny dots because I just feel like it gives me a little bit more control than a straight harsh line. And whatever's best for you guys. There's no right or wrong way to draw with crayons on your face. See, and I was never good in art class, and now it's all starting to come to me as to why I was not good in art class. Because who wants to follow directions? Who wants to do it the way the teacher tells you to? And for those of you that are teachers, I applaud what you do every day, especially if you have students that are like, no, let me be creative. I don't want to have to follow within the lines. And then we were able to become adults and start playing with makeup. And thus is where we find our happiness. See how easy this is? It's a couple products and your fingers and you are good to go. So once I've done my cheeks, I will go back and get my second coat. I just had it. I'll go back and get my second coat of mascara. Okay, now if you want a little bit of highlighter, and we've already used the lighter colors, but if you're like, you know, I just want a little bit more glow or a little bit of highlighter, take your lightest color, if it is of a highlight type color, and I'm gonna mix it on my arm just so you guys can see, but you can do this really anywhere. Just take it and put a little bit of product. Was that my lightest one? Let's see. Nope, there's my lightest one. So just take the lightest one that you want to use. So that would be a good highlighter, but if you're like, no, I think I want it a little bit lighter than that, then just put it on, you know, a glass dish or something, and then take some of your setting spray and spray it, and that's just going to give you a little bit more moisture to it so that it's easier to work with and it's a much thinner consistency. And then you'll get that right on your finger and just go right where you would put some highlighter. And because you have that setting spray in it, it's going to last a lot longer than you would expect. And you can kind of put that anywhere you want. Okay. Now I will forget that that's there, and when I go to take my shirt off, I will have a big smudge mark. Now I'm gonna go back to my colors and figure out, okay, which one do I want on my lips? Since I have a little bit darker look on my eyes today, and it may not be dark to you, if this is a light eye look for you, then go darker with your lips. If you think, gosh, those are pretty dark eyes, then go lighter on the lips. So one has to play, you know, main actor, and one has to play the supporting actor role. In this case, this feels dark enough for me, so I'm gonna go with a little bit lighter on my lips. So I think what I'm gonna do is go back to my little color swatch on my hand, and I think, was this one? No, that's actually a third one. I'm gonna go with that color on my lips because I think it'll just pull everything together, and then I will put the lightest color here, right in the center. So if you use a lip liner and you have one handy, great, line your lips. Or you can just, again, just go with your crayons. just like that. And then take your lightest color or any color that you want to put on your lips. Again, if you want to go darker with your lips, then you could do another layer of that. Or in my case, I want to go lighter with my lips. So I'm going to go with my lightest color and just go right over, I can't talk and do this at the same time. I'm just going to go right over about the center 2/3 of my lips with this lighter color. Now, because these can be drying, some lip products can be drying, some eye products on your lips can be drying, I like to go over that with just a little bit of my favorite chapstick or my Aquaphor, as you guys know, and just sort of blend those colors together, but also add some moisture to my lips. I was trying some new lipstick yesterday, and it was so drying that I feel like my lips are gonna now take days to recover. So I apologize for that if they look a little on the dry side today. The product I was using will not make it in a favorites video. That pretty much does it, you guys. It was super easy. It was under, you know, minus my talking, it's probably less than 12-15 minutes, depending on if you start with your base already done, being your foundation and then contouring and stuff. But it's really easy, and I think that you would enjoy this fun look. And again, when you use creams as we get older, it's the creams that really help give a dewy look. It's the powders that keep us from looking as healthy and as dewy as we'd like throughout the duration of the day. So there you go. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and as I said, I will leave these products in the description box below just in case you're looking for a nice set or whatever pencil crayons you have. Pull them out and get creative. Just start with putting them all on a piece of paper or all out in front of you and pull the ones that you think are most complementary to your eye color and to the outfit that you're wearing. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.